Hey guys, what's up? I hope everyone's having as much fun and opening to as many miracles as I am. Whew. Oh my goodness. So many things to share with you. And today, as I'm moving through all of the energies, as I'm sure so many of you are, I wanted to do a little experiment with you that I used to do when I was both a high school history teacher and a school administrator. If you could imagine me being a principal, it feels like another lifetime ago. It was always really deep in my heart to teach the students how to empower themselves to be able to be proactive in life. And so today, as we move through all of these energies together that are so good and high vibrational, but can also be very ungrounding at times, I want to use the analogy of becoming still like water. So to have a little fun together, I'm going to use the same little activity that I used with my students. I have this right here and some really beautiful pure water. So the very first thing I want to talk to you about as we dive into this analogy is as you become still like water, as you are proactive with life and intentional in life, I really want you to think of all of your triggers, all of the traumas, all of the things inside of your system, right? And they can bubble up and they can create a lot of change in us. And when we're like soda, right? And when soda gets shaken up, what happens to it? I haven't opened a soda in like a decade, so this is going to be fun. I have a bowl here, so don't panic. When you shake up soda, right? It fizzes, it explodes. Oh, it makes a really big mess. It goes everywhere, right? But what else happens is now this soda, it's no longer full, right? It's got its essence all over. It's in the bowl, it's on my computer, it's on my phone, it's all over the place. It's on my hands, right? It's no longer full. This soda's essence spilled over everywhere. Whatever poked it, whatever shook it up, took bits and pieces of its magic and power away. This feels really icky, sticky. Now, when I take the water and I shake it up, I can do anything to the water. I can throw it, I can shake it, I can do anything I want. And I did drink some, so it's not totally full. But what happens with the water when it gets triggered? It immediately returns to stillness. None of its essence is wasted, none of it's overflowing, none of it's spilling out onto other people. It's still whole and full in and of itself. When you allow the things outside of you to create disruption inside of you, not only do you ooze that out everywhere and make a big sticky mess, but you lose a part of your essence, your power, the parts that make you magic and infused with life. It's when we can remain still, no matter what comes up, no matter what moves around us, that we remain whole in and of ourselves. The water is never erupted. More with water. When water is moving through the system, right? And it's going through this bowl and it's hitting this bottle, it's just moving around it. All it's doing is moving around it and returning to stillness. It goes with the flow. When waves crash into rocks, they go back into the ocean and once again remain still. Whatever the tides and flows of life, water is able to flow and move and allow itself to remain whole and in and of its essence. And if you can keep that in your mind throughout today, throughout this week, throughout all of these things that are upcoming, you're going to radically transform your life, because what you're doing is you're keeping your essence, you're keeping your stillness inside of you, your power, your magic, the fullness of your being. When you can return to that stillness and not be disrupted by external forces, whether they're good and magical or whether they're hard and negative, but instead you can bring it all inside and breathe it in and find that inner calm. When you can ground it in and connect to your higher source and allow yourself to be moved through life rather than constantly reacting to it, you create new neural pathways in your vessel that allow you to continuously stay in your power. You create a whole new vibration, a whole new demeanor, because instead of like the soda exploding everywhere, you're keeping all of that essence, all of that beauty, all of that magic inside. So my message for you today is to become like water. Remain still, remain whole, remain all of you, and don't let the things outside of you transform what's going on inside of you. Okay, so we've talked a lot about water, right? Remaining still, remaining calm, really just allowing life to move through you. And when you take that knowledge and you're like, okay, easier said than done. We've also talked a lot in the last couple of weeks about not putting conditions on life, right? And so when you come to a state of neutrality in your mind, the things outside of you won't affect you if you're not placing judgment or conditions on them. If you come back to that place of happiness, like we talked about a couple series ago, where you're saying, I'm choosing to be happy. I'm happy. Happiness is within me. I am happiness, not I am happy if I get this amount of money, not I am happy if I enter into this relationship, not I am happy if I get this job, if my wife stays with me, whatever it may be, just I am happy. And that's how you keep that place of internal stillness, is you let go of the conditions, you let go of the judgments, you let go of all the things in and of yourself that create judgments and things that those explosions can brush up against. When you just make that internal commitment to joy, to peace, to happiness, to staying whole in and of yourself, then you get to use life as a really, really beautiful teacher. You guys know my story. Life hasn't always been easy, but in the way that I've responded to it, I've been able to cultivate a beautiful life for myself by allowing that energy to move within me, by using my own inner stillness to alchemize it. And instead of throwing all of that energy out into everyone and everything around me and making a big sticky mess, I keep it inside. And I use my own energy centers, my own higher consciousness to create more of what I want to see, not more of what I don't want. It's by babysitting my mind, right? When those things in life happen that are either really exciting or really hard, instead of letting myself get scattered and exploding, I turn inward and I breathe. I return to that stillness, that inner calm. And I allow myself to use the tools that I've cultivated, that as you've been listening to these series, these tools you've been able to cultivate in and of yourself by reparenting your inner child so they no longer externally react to everything outside of you, right? By being able to reprogram your mind with conscious thoughts about what you do want to create. By breathing deep into yourself and using meditation to regulate your nervous system, to create a whole new internal reality so that you start seeing it on the outside and really starting to embody all that you are, that really high vibrational state of consciousness. Speaking of which, the Embodied Being Retreat happening in May in my own sanctuary. You guys are invited. Today's the last day of early bird pricing. I'd love for you to join us at the Embodied Being Retreat. We're going to be cultivating this skill, this set, and walk out of this retreat fully embodying that higher consciousness so that the external world no longer has to rock you. And I'm going to say this about the external world right now. We are going through a massive change, a massive upheaval. I know you felt it. You're either in a state much like myself where everything's really energized and all of the miracles are happening, and it's just like it's almost earth shattering the way that everything is happening and being cultivated instantly. You know, you think a thought, it's happening, or on the flip side, and neither one is better or worse, they're just what's happening. Or on the flip side, you're feeling all of the eruption outside of you and it is rocking the inside, and you're sinking into fear and maybe depression and maybe anxiety and maybe just really deep uncomfortability. Either way isn't right or wrong. Like I said, it's just neutral, but we're all experiencing a huge inner shift. And it's the way that we're responding to that shift that is creating what happens next. Like when you're standing in the oceans and the waves come crashing in, if you are resisting, it's going to be a lot more painful than if you swim, if you go with the waves, if you allow it to move with and through you. I can tell you this, if you can choose not to attach, not to consciously, mentally, emotionally, or physically attach to anything that's happening and just stand in the knowing that life is happening for you. Yes, even during the hard times, I told you guys this before, whether it was really hard relationships or my cancer diagnosis or being an only parent or some of the things that have rocked my life in the last couple of years. What I could have done was I could have panicked and froze and resisted and say, oh my God, the universe hates me, everything is wrong. But instead, what I said is, I have deep, deep trust that everything is happening for me. Actually, I'll tell you a story right now. I currently own 2 homes, and the first home has been on the market for a while, and I really would love it to sell. Truly, I would love for it to sell. And we had an offer, and I was so excited. I was just like, yes, it's finally happening. I'm going to release this chapter. Everything's going to be good. And I got a call from my realtor, and he was like, hey, they backed out, blah, blah, blah. And I felt it in my gut at first. And I was like, but because of the work I've done, the very first thought I thunk was, oh God, I'm going to get a way better offer. Like, yes, a bigger miracle is on its way. I could have, if I had a different mindset, said, oh my God, why is this happening? I just want to sell this house. It's never going to sell. But I didn't, because of the way I very carefully cultivated my inner being. Instead, I was able to embrace what could have been a really hard moment and turn it into magic. And surely enough, we did get an offer that was way, way, way higher. And we're under a contract right in this very moment. And it's what it does, even if you don't want to say that I created that, what that did is it didn't allow me to go into stress. It didn't cause me to go into a fight or flies or free or fawn response. Instead, I was able to just be like, inner peace, embracing the miracle, higher vibration, and move on with my day. And hours later, I was in the hot springs playing with my kids, having a good time, not even thinking about that, because I knew the universe was working for me. Every single miracle that's happened, every single heartbreak that's happened, every single pain that's happened, I had the deep faith that it was all happening for me. And I know that when you're in it, I promise you, I know that when you're in it and before you've created that conscious mind, that deep inner faith and that trust in the universe, it feels like death. It feels like you want to crawl out of your skin. And I know even words like the ones I'm saying can be really triggering of like, oh, but you don't understand. But I do. I do understand. And it's when every single day you can just take one tiny baby step in a different direction. If every single day you can choose to just be a little bit of a different person, because what I've learned is in order to step into the reality that you really desire, that you feel inside of you and you just can't see, you just haven't experienced yet, in order to step into that, you have to be a totally different person. That's why I always say, let the universe surprise the fuck out of you. Because if you aren't surprised, that it meant you could create it in the mind, in the person of who you are. But if you're creating it in that mind, right, then you're not really stepping into a whole new reality. I always say to the universe, just surprise the fuck out of me. Whatever needs to come for my highest and best good, let it come in a miraculous way that leaves me in awe and wonder. And I will tell you, it is never what I thought it would be like. It always is what I thought it would feel like to experience it. Got to breathe for a second because I'm currently in the process of one of those experiences now, and it's so emotional. But I will tell you that if you can sink into the gratitude and the experience of those moments before they happen, when they do happen, it's going to feel like everything you ever imagined and more, but it's going to look totally different. Certain things might be the same, right? But it happens in a way that you can see that it was totally outside of your control. And those things only happen when you can step back and allow the universe to work for you. It's when you can cultivate like the gratitude and the feelings that I am creating inside of me now. Every single night before this experience unfolded, I created this same level of gratitude inside of my heart. Whatever it was, whether it was a job opportunity, a relationship opportunity, a financial opportunity, when I wanted to create something, I felt it in my entire being, not just the experience, but the gratitude I would feel when that moment happened. And my question to a lot of people on this journey is if you can't set aside the time every day to create something magical in your internal world, you're never going to see it on your external world. You have to be able to commit and invest in that reality. You have to be able to rise above your current circumstances. You guys, there were times when one of my very first moments, I was $1 million in medical debt from cancer. I was an only mom. I went to this huge conference. This was, oh my gosh, 10 years ago. I went to this huge conference and I just like in the whim of my own heart invested $16,000 in this business coach who's going to help me create the life of my dreams. And everything felt scary and hard. And I came home, right? All of this debt, just created more, walked home, had an eviction notice on my door. And I'm just like thinking, how am I going to create safety for my kids? And I was sitting in the bathtub, just like having this total come apart. And I stopped everything. And this has always been like this weird, sick little thing in my brain, but I stopped everything and I said, fuck, you're going to tell this story someday and it's going to be amazing. And allowing myself to know, right, at the level of work I had done in that moment, that I was going to be able to create something good out of that pain. What I was able to do in that moment, instead of having to come apart, what I did was I sank into the vision of my future. I saw myself on a stage telling that story, much like I am right now to you, telling that story of how I overcame all of these obstacles. And I sank in and I felt it. And a lot of people will say having moments like that makes you crazy or delusional. Like, how are you going to have all of this stuff falling apart in your life and sit in a bathtub and see yourself telling a story on stage of a better future? It's what got me here today. I swear to you. It was sitting in chemo treatment, knowing what I was going to create from that moment. It was every hard time saying, how can I make lemonade out of this? How can I alchemize this? How can I create something even more beautiful here? It was that mindset that got me where I am. And I understand that not everybody just intrinsically has that. And that's why this work is so important to me, to teach you every day how to master your thoughts, how to align with your spirit, and how to, more than anything, connect to that beautiful universal consciousness that loves you so deeply, more deeply than you could ever fathom, because most human beings don't have that capacity to feel and open to that kind of love, because you've never been taught it, you've never seen it, you've never felt it. But the one place you can always turn to feel that is the universe. And it's from that place, and it's from that knowing, and it's from bringing all of those feelings into your body that you can literally create new worlds. You have to learn how to be still like the water, to not let all of your essence be wasted on all of the things outside of you. No one else is living your life. No one else is going to contribute or save your life the way that you will. And so when you let them shake you up and you explode everywhere, the only person you're hurting and harming is yourself. And so I'm asking you today to simply be, to find that stillness within, to connect to that beautiful universal source, to know how deeply you are held and loved. And to know that as you commit to investing on that internal journey, every single thing on your external journey is going to change. If no one's told you today, I love you. And I see you and I honor you wherever you're at on this vision. And it is my honor and joy to be able to walk with you on this path. Join me next week. I'm here every week doing these free live teachings so that you can pick up and start cultivating these tools in your own life. And if you do feel like you want to work with me one-on-one, I have links all over the interweb in my bio and all the places that you can work with me one-on-one, or come to one of my retreats, or go to one of my speaking events. It's truly my honor to share this with you. And I hope that you resonated. I hope that you could pick it up, receive it, open to it. And more than anything, I hope that miracles unfold everywhere you walk today. I love you, Divine One. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.